My name is Larry Hooper. I'm originally from Connecticut. I came down here 8 years ago to take people fishing. And I established a fishing business, Our Freedom Charters. And it was doing well. Now I'm working for BP. I have no fishing business left. Our area started out the size of Rhode Island. We couldn't fish. We were still fishing around it, catching fish. Then we turned around and right now it's up, the last report I had, the size of Minnesota. And I don't know how many states we can fit in the Gulf, but hell, it's coming. The stories we've heard from day to day on the spillage of the oil, it keeps changing. What I actually see down here is one day we have oil, next day we don't. It's a combination of the current. We have certain currents that are dominant down here, other ones are in and out. The wind direction makes a little bit of difference, but not as much as most people would think. The tide makes a little bit of difference. The main thing is the currents. The oil that's been dispersed and held under the water, I don't like. The dispersant, I heard, kills 30% of the oxygen around the oil when it's dispersing it. Our fish, our wildlife, our estuaries need oxygen. They are putting it in there. They were told to stop. They didn't stop. The president could have stepped in and said something. Some environmental group could have stepped in and said something, but BP says that's the best we can find. It's the most toxic, but we're going to go with it. And I guess big money, big business beats it out. Well, guess what? I'm losing my clientele, and I'm losing my estuary, my fishery. I'm an offshore captain. I was out there the other day. We were looking for sea turtles. It was a little bit real smooth, but it was a little bit dirty. So we had a spotter helicopter come out with us. And it was so dirty he could not find a brake line. But there was not a fish that came up. There was not a bird flying. And I'm 25 miles offshore in that water. There's got to be something. I happen to have a cockahoe minnow on board. Little plastic cockahoe minnow with a chartreuse tail. And I took this cockahoe minnow and I dropped it down. I locked the pole in exactly where it disappeared. I picked it up, 3 feet deep, gone. The fish that I fish for, God help them, y'all pray for them. They're very sensitive to anything that changes their way of life. The thing that it's really going to hurt is the oyster industry, because the oysters can't move. The shrimp can get down out of it. You get surface oil and you get bottom oil. The dispersed oil is a bottom oil. Like I said, we found it in Barataria Bay in Lake Washington the other day. Then it disappeared. 2 days later, up it comes again. Did it come in with the tide? We were watching it all day and all night. Did it come up and down with the salinity of the water? We don't know. This is all new to us. All I know is we're being fed a poison, and it's going to hurt us bad. You can see the turtles. You can see the birds. Can you see the fish I'm losing? You can't see the oysters. The oyster fishermen are losing. You can't see the shrimp. They are a little residual too. You can't see the shrimp, the speckled trout, and the redfish that are being lost. When this came in, we had a hatch coming out. It was springtime. Everything's mate. Guess what? All them eggs are gone. The blue crabs here, a lot of people don't realize, the blue crabs here are more abundant than you could ever imagine. The state of Maryland is the blue crab capital of the world. And I've always, when I was in Connecticut, that's the place to go. They had, my last name is Hooper, and they had Hooper's Crab House in Maryland. Beautiful place to go. They had a major fire there one time. I hope they built it back up. But 70% of the Maryland's blue crabs come from here. I've been living down here with these people down here, and I've become a part of them. They've even accepted me as a coon ass, and that's a common expression for the people who live down here. There's a lot of frustration down here, anger. You see tempers flying, and I realize it's not that as far as anger. That's their way to vent, but these people are real scared. All right, we're being killed. We don't know if we can survive. We already have 460 miles of 480 miles of oiled shore. Now 480 miles. I don't know how big California is or what they have for shoreline. We have oiled shoreline there. Very little of it is actually beaches. That's Louisiana, all right? We have a nursery that's oiled, and it's being killed. The oil that's in the Gulf, I couldn't possibly fathom. The entire Gulf of Mississippi, it's going to be over into Texas eventually, with that loop current going that way. There's loop currents, not just the Gulf current. The Mississippi comes down, and when it hits there, it forms loop currents that go around, and the Gulf current goes that way, and everything filters in. And the Mississippi doesn't empty in one spot. It empties out in about 10 different spots all the way up the line. So the oil is going to be here for a long time. What it's going to do, I don't know. Unfortunately, a lot of the people down here they're not going to be able to take it. They've been beat up by Betsy and Camille. The people that were born here were beat up by Betsy and Camille 45 years ago, then Katrina 5 years ago, and it's just this. I do near shore fishing, which is rig fishing for snapper, grouper, amberjack, and all that, and it's all closed. It's all done. We don't know. I don't know what oil's underneath. I don't know what oil's on top. It changes from day to day. I'm hoping my fish are smart enough. I mean, I always look for a stupid fish that can bite the hook. Don't get me wrong.